We are now going to look at the plan to produce infolets on the home page. As soon as we log in, we get into this Springboard page where you have all your applications access. You also have the source to settle or the idea to commercialize, plan to produce, and the order to cash infolet pages, which gives you the details. We are going to just look at the plan to produce infolets for today. So the plan to produce home experience page is actually a collection of all the infolets providing high level summary of key metrics across the organizations in the supply chain. It's actually targeted at the operations manager and the supply chain vice president. The user with necessary privilege can access this page from the home page of the application. Now, the infolet that are displayed in the plan to produce homepage are the first one is the planning focus metrics, which includes planned revenue and margin, shipment forecast, and the planned resources. The costing focus metrics, which shows the work in process, balances, inventory, and valuation. The supply chain collaboration metric on supplier forecast. The quality metric on open issues by severity, and finally the manufacturing metric, which is related to the today's production quantities. Now let's look at each of the infolet in detail. The first one is about the planned revenue and margin infolet. This actually displays the current fiscal quarter's projected revenue and the gross margin percentage. So the fiscal calendar is found in the plan's dimension catalog, otherwise it uses the Gregorian calendar. Now, clicking on this, you will be actually taken to the plan details. Here you can get every detail including the revenue margin, forecast comparison, shipment forecast, inventory turns, and the demand versus the on the plan. Now, the measure displays the currency that is used. In the expanded view, you get to see the revenue for the top 4 categories. Let's now review the work in process balances. So a work order that has some transactions reported but hasn't been closed will have balances in the WIP account. All such work orders are summarized and displayed here and broken down by the work order status. You can click on anything to review the work order cost page drill down and the work order contributing for this balance. Let's now review the inventory valuation infolet. This actually shows the summary of total inventory value in a graphical form broken down by the valuation structure type. Each segment shows inventory value for the asset, consigned, and expense valuation units. You can click on any of the segment to navigate and actually review the inventory valuation page details. The planned resource infolet actually displays the resource exception information. This is shown as a count for the exceptions overall, not the current quarter. So you can actually drill from either the exception to the resource exceptions table. The resource exception table will be filtered to the exception. For example, if you click on the number 2 here for the resource overload, it will display the resource exceptions table filtered to the 2 exceptions for the resource overload. You can use the expanded view icon to flip the card to see the top utilized resources. The open issues by severity, which is a quality metric, actually displays the number of quality issues which are in the open state. This means that the issues which have been closed or cancelled already are not included in the count. The ring chart in the infolet actually shows the open issues grouped by their severity, which is an attribute to every quality issue. Now, clicking on each of this segment of the chart will take the user to the quality management workbench, where it will display the respective quality issues in the search result. We will now review the production metric, which is the today's production quantities. It's an infolet that displays the overall production quantities for the day. Now it shows the aggregate sum of quantity completed, scrapped, and the quantity to be completed for the work orders scheduled for the day. Now a separate segment for the past dues shows the sum, actually the backlog quantities that have not yet been reported on open work orders. The production quantities are summed up across the plants and can be accessed by the user. And clicking on this will take you to the production supervisor workbench directly. The shipment forecast infolet displays a bar chart containing the total shipment forecast value. So this is shown for the next 5 months of the forecast, and you can actually drill down to analyze it by item and organization and month by clicking on the title. And when you expand it, you can see the difference between the sales forecast and the shipment forecast. The supplier forecast influence consists of two views that summarize key data for the collaboration planner. So on the front, it has the recent activity. The user will see the total counts of new forecast commitments and then exceptions. And then on the back side, the exceptions, the user will see the breakdown of new exceptions with total count for past due commits, mismatches, and the forecast